So, we are celebrating our new year. And we are coming off of all of these holy days that we've been celebrating. For all of these years coming to this interfaith fellowship and celebrating all of these holy days, one begins to notice that there are a lot of common themes in the holy days. In many ways, we could say that it's the same underlying message from each and every one. And that message is basically that God loves us so much. He loves us so much that he wants us to be in relationship with him and her. He loves us so much that he wants us to be able to see who we really are. He loves us so much that he invites us to open our hearts to him, to her, and to receive all of the blessings and all of the abundance that is always, always there for us. It's not God. It's not the blessings. It's not the abundance that dries up or goes away. It's usually us that is going away. It's usually us that's not open. It's usually us that has all of these limiting beliefs, usually revolving around some version of, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable enough, I don't deserve that love, I don't really deserve those blessings and abundance. So we're starting out our new year with the intention of really wanting to open to God's love and God's abundance. So when Reverend Joanne knew that she'd be away, she'd say, "Hey, Gerard, why don't you talk about that abundance program that you've spoken about in many previous years? And that would be a really great topic for the new year." So I never would miss an opportunity to talk about God's love and blessings and his abundance. So much of today's message is going to revolve around this little book here, the Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. And within this book, what he does is he talks about some different abundance principles, and then he offers us a 40-day prosperity program, which we can join in if we like. So let me just talk with you a little bit about some of his key beliefs about the truth and the laws involved in prosperity and abundance. And this is on this little sheet here. In addition to your program, I made up this 8x12 sheet. You can consider it a cheat sheet, because I wanted you to have these available to you to be able to use whenever you want it. So the first law that he talks about here is that your outer world of form and experience is a reflection of your inner world of thought and feelings. As above, so is below. As within, so is without. This is the first law. So I'm sure this must sound familiar to you. You know, there was a book and a movie called The Secret, as well as all of these great people that talk about abundance. And basically what they teach us is that it's what we think and believe that becomes a reality. This is what he's saying here. If we think it, if we feel it, if we believe it, if we can really embody that, if we can really know that, then that manifests in our life. The second law here is the greater your awareness of the presence of God within you, the more that presence fills your consciousness. That's really what this 40-day prosperity plan is going to be about. It's going to be, if you choose to do this, it's going to be a program where every day you are filling your consciousness with these abundance and prosperity principles, tuning into their energy, letting them come into your being so that you know them from the inside out. So when you know that, it then manifests in your outer life. Number 3, the deeper your understanding of spirit as the source, substance, and activity of your supply, the more permanently that truth will be etched into your consciousness. This is the law. And this is, again, what this whole 40-day prosperity plan is that we're going to be talking about. And 4, it is your spiritual consciousness, your knowledge of the presence of God within you as total and complete fulfillment. That interprets itself as every form or experience in your world. That is what's going to create and manifest every form and experience in your world. Down towards the bottom of that page, he tells us that prosperity, abundance, money is an effect. And if we're concentrating on that effect, we're forgetting about the cause. And when we forget about the cause, the effect begins to diminish. When we focus our attention on getting money, the physical money, how we're going to do that, how we're going to make that happen, we can actually be shutting off the supply from its source. When we realize this truth, supply flows uninterrupted into perfect and abundant manifestation. So he's encouraging us to look to God alone as the source and to take our mind off of the outer effect. And lastly, all the way on the bottom of the page, he tells us that gratitude and thanksgiving are vital ingredients to developing a prosperity consciousness. because nothing opens the door to that storehouse as quickly as a thankful heart. Which is why three of the songs that we've sung today have been all about being thankful and having a perspective of gratitude. Because when we can have our heart be open and be expecting that, and be thankful for that, and expecting it, that is what manifests. So let's talk about the actual 40-day prosperity plan. So on the back of that sheet, you have these 10 prosperity affirmations. These are the same affirmations that Wally read in the Declaration of Intent, that you're already somewhat familiar with. And the way that the 40-day prosperity program works is that each day you focus on a different affirmation. So day one, you focus on the first affirmation. Now what that means is, in the morning or sometime during the day, you read it. You take it in. You connect with its energy. You let it speak to your heart. You let it speak to your being. You let it have its way with you. Sometime towards the end of the day, before you go to sleep, it's good if you can take an opportunity to do a little bit of writing about it. What it says to you, how it challenges you, what it's inviting you to. And then the next day, day number 2, you get up and you go to number 2 and do the same thing. Then day number 3, you go to 3, and so on and so forth until you get to 10. And then on day 11, you go back to number 1, all the way through the teens. Then 21 up at the top, 31 at the top, bringing us through 40 and having completed this program. Now, you've already read all of these. We've read all of these in the Declaration of Intent. And so you may notice that in some ways, they're all saying the same thing, but just in a little different way. And the basic message is the same ones we were talking about for all of the holy days. God loves you so much. He loves you so much. He wants you to understand that these principles are the truth. They're the law. They're the way things work. And if you can know that, if you can open your heart to this, if you can open your heart to that love, to those blessings, to that abundance, what can happen will probably be beyond that which you could even imagine. So I just want to share my favorites with you. And each of these favorites will have a challenge, a little bit of a challenge for you. So my first favorite is number 6. My inner supply instantly and constantly takes on form and experience according to my needs and desires. And as the principle of supply and action, it is impossible for me to have any needs or unfulfilled desires. So I ask you, are you willing to believe this? Are you willing to believe that if you know God is the source of all that's good, as we sang in All Good Gifts, that He is the source of all blessings? If we can open ourselves up to that fully, we would have no unfulfilled desires. Just think about if you're really willing to believe that. If you're really willing to open yourself up to this. And this is why this is a 40-day plan, okay? Because we don't read it once and then say, all right, I'm in, I'm all in, you know? There are these parts of us that are resistant. There are these parts of us that find it hard to believe. There are these parts of us that have these limiting beliefs and say, right? You know that? Yeah. So we have 40 days for these energies to come in and have their way with us. My next favorite one is number 7. The divine consciousness that I am is forever expressing its true nature of abundance. This is its responsibility, not mine. My only responsibility is to be aware of this truth. Therefore, I am totally confident in letting go and letting God appear as the abundant all-sufficiency in my life and my affairs. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to believe that? Are you willing to really give your dreams, give your wishes, give your greatest longings to God and expect and have faith that if He has put those dreams, those longings, those wishes in your heart, that He will deliver that? Or, like so many of us, are you going to tell yourself that you have to figure out how you're going to make that happen? Or even worse, will you tell yourself, well, it's never going to happen anyway, so I don't even want it? My last favorite, number 8. My consciousness of the Spirit within me as my unlimited source is the divine power to restore the years the locusts have eaten, to make all things new, to lift me up to the high road of abundant prosperity. This awareness understanding, and knowledge of spirit then appears as every visible form and experience that I could possibly desire. Are you willing to allow God to have his and her way in your life? Or do you have to hold on to the control? Hold on to those limiting beliefs. Hold on to those protectors. My dear gathering brothers and sisters, this is a process. It's not something that happens tomorrow. We're still probably going to be working on it after the 40 days if you choose to do the plan. It's an ongoing process. But my experience of this program, which I've done many, many, many times, is that it is a worthwhile process and one which has nourished me and healed me and allowed me to more fully open and to more fully receive God's love and blessings. So, want to check in with you at this point. At times in the past that I've talked about this program here, what I've done is I've run the program on our Gathering Facebook page, where I put the affirmations there every day. Sometimes I put some inspirational songs or words to help us along the way. And I have invited you all to share how that's going, right there on the Facebook page. And my experience of that has been, it didn't seem like people were interested in that. And that's okay. If this is something that you would like to just do individually and do on your own, that's absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But the reason that I've offered that in the past is because it's kind of like, in addition to our own energy, it's like the group energy makes it even greater. So what I'm asking you is this a program that maybe you'd like to do on your own? Maybe yes, maybe no. And if so, you'd prefer to just do it on your own. Or would you like to do it as a community on the Facebook page? So how many of you would find it supportive or helpful for us to do it as a community on the Facebook page? Okay. So
the thing with Facebook is whatever I post on the Gathering page, anyone that's on my friends list can see what I posted. I would be more comfortable, because that includes a wide array of people in my life, if there were a secret group made just for this purpose, so nobody can see what we post but the people that are in the group. That would make me more comfortable to participate in Facebook.
Okay. Other people agree with that? Would other people like that? Okay, so I'll do that. I'll set up a secret group. And how will I let you know what that is?
You have to invite.
Oh, I have to invite?
You have to, on Facebook, you gotta invite people.
Okay.
And you make, it's not a secret, it's
All right.
a closed group, and you invite people, and you could reject people, and
Okay, so I might need your help with that, Diane. I might call upon you to help me with that, but I will try to have that set up for Monday. Okay, for us to begin on Monday. Alrighty? So, thank you all. Good luck with this. And a blessed and abundant new year to all of you.